Today I'm going to be showing you how to preserve beetroot. The first thing you want to do when you are canning beets is to give them a good wash, and the next thing is to cut the roots off the end of them. These are beets that we grew in the garden, so they've all come through at slightly different sizes, but that's okay, we'll cook them all together. I don't bother slicing or peeling them at this stage, I just throw them all in a pot and cover them with some water and boil them for about 20 minutes, half an hour. You just want to boil them until they're just soft, and then set them aside, drain them and set them aside to cool so you can peel them and slice them. Because we're canning our beetroot in a hot mixture, we're going to need hot jars. So to do that, you pop your oven onto either 200 Fahrenheit or 100 degrees Celsius. Put your jars into a tray like this so that when you're pouring your liquid in, it doesn't slop all over your bench, and it makes it easier to carry them all as one. So pop them in there for 10 minutes just to heat up. When we're finished canning the beetroot, we're going to water bath it. So this is my pressure canner pot, but it's the only pot I have that actually has a rack in the bottom. You do need a rack in the bottom, it keeps the glass up off the element, and don't use an upturned ceramic plate because I've tried that before and it shatters. Just don't do it. If you're stuck, you can actually zip tie some of these together into a circle shape and use that to keep your cans up off the ground. If you're like me and live too far from town to get a rack, but however I'm just going to use this pot, that's what I have. Now to water bath hot cans of food, what you want to do is get this pot with some water in it, and you need to turn it on so that it's getting hot as well. Not necessarily boiling, but definitely hot. And what you want is your jar to sit with 1 inch of water on top, or 2.5 centimeters above that. So, but remember, when you put your jars in, of course the water level is going to go up. So I usually aim for just shy of the height of the jar of water, and we'll keep that on heating. So I did have this all recorded, and my camera decided to turn itself off. So what I have done is the beets have cooked, and so I tipped them off, put them into a bowl of cold water, peeled off all their skins, and once they've cooled down, I've sliced them up. These are bull's blood beetroot, so they aren't quite as intense red as commercial ones, and they do have that really cool pattern in the middle. So while they were cooling in this pot, I put a cup of sugar, a cup of water, 2 cups of vinegar, and a teaspoon of salt. You can also add some ginger or some black pepper or some chilies or whatever flavouring. Garlic's really nice. You can either choose to put them in the jar or into the syrup. Oh, not syrup, the pickle. So then you pop the pickle onto the stove and bring it to the boil. And meantime, you want to pack your beetroots into your hot jars. You want to fill up as many small holes as you possibly can. And to be honest, the only reason this pickle mixture is red is because I'm having to redo this bit because of the camera. Usually it's white, like vinegar. So pop all your bits of beets into your jar. And then what you want to do is use a canning funnel so that you don't throw your syrup everywhere. And pour your pickle mixture and on top of your beets until you've got about 1 centimetre from the top. Whoop. When you're about close, you want to run a knife down the sides to get the air pockets out. Try and keep your beets and fruit, whatever you're preserving, below the liquid line. Below the liquid line. They tend to hold their colour a lot better. Now we're just a wee bit shy there of that centimetre/1/2 inch, so I'm just going to top it up a little bit further. And then wash my very beetrooty hands. And if you're anything like me, you've probably made a mess, so you need to wipe the rims. This makes sure that there's no grits or anything to stop the seals from sticking. And then you pop your seal on top, followed closely by a band. You just want to do the band up fingertip tight, and usually that's not a problem because your jars are hot, and so you don't want to hold on to them anyway. So they're ready to pop into the water bath. Now just be careful when you're lowering your things in your water bath, because that water in there will be hot, but you don't really want to drop You don't really want to drop the jars either. As you can see, I'm actually mix water bathing here. Oh, that's getting a wee bit hot. And it actually doesn't matter if you're running a water bath, it doesn't matter how many different varieties you put in there. This little gadget can be quite helpful getting your jars in. However, as you can see, they don't quite fit these fat neck jars very well. But it's better than boiling my fingers off. So then you want your water sitting about an inch above the tops of those, which we're about close to. Bring it up to boiling and give it 20 minutes to boil. Now once your jars have finished in the water bath, you can lift them out. You'll need one of these. Otherwise you can just wait until the water cools down and then lift them out. But you do risk the seals not working. So you want to use one of these, lift them out and sit them onto either a wooden board or onto a folded towel. You don't want to shock the glass by putting them onto something really cold. Right, once your jars are cold, you can tell that the seal has worked because the top has sunk down, and you can take off your screw band and it stays on. These will store almost indefinitely as they are. Ideally you'd use them within a year. Best stored somewhere cool and dark. I have a cupboard in the hallway that I keep all mine in. And to open them, you just need to jimmy the side open with a knife. Or you can use a bottle opener, but they will pop a hole in your top more often than not and ruin those. I just tend to jimmy them off. And with the preserved beets, once they're open, you can keep them in the fridge and they'll last for a good week or two open in the fridge. I hope you found this video really helpful. If you have, please hit the like button down below and consider subscribing to this channel. We'd really appreciate it.